In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to return values in Flash. So, creating a Flash file, Actionscript 3.0, and let's look at our actions panel. And we have nothing, so we're going to make a function, a simple function, and we're going to name it returning values. We're going to type in void, and I'll explain what this is in a moment. We're going to, let's just trace something, test, and then let's run this function, and let's see if this function is running properly. And it's working, so that's what we want. Now, this void, well, first of all, returning, when you make a function, you're basically putting in something. Basically right now we're just putting in something in Flash. That a returning value is when you put in something and then Flash returns something. Like you can type in like 2 for a variable and make another variable that's 3, and then you can add those together, and then you can make an equation out of that, 2 plus 3, and then Flash will tell you what that equals to. So that's basically a returning value. It returns something back to you. And this void right here means we're not returning anything. You don't have to type it, of course, but I like to. You just type in as a colon and then type in void, and this basically means you're not returning anything. You don't have to specify this, but you can if you want. I like to specify it. But we're gonna make 2 variables in here. I'm gonna delete this trace function, this trace statement. The first var is gonna be number 1. It's gonna be a number, and we're gonna make that equal to 2. And then we're gonna make another variable, number 2. We're gonna make this a number 2. We're gonna make this 3, and I forgot to put the semicolon in these two. Make sure to put that. And then we're gonna type in return, which basically means you're gonna return something when this function runs, and we're gonna return number 1 plus number 2, and then close that. We're gonna make this a number, and that's pretty much it. So if we run this now, we get nothing, basically because we didn't really call it out. So let's trace this, and in the parentheses we're going to type in the name of the function. So basically we're running the function. We're going to type in returning values. We run this now, and you see we get 5, and I'll explain what this is right now. So we created a function, then we named it, and then we put in parentheses which contain parameters, but there's no parameters in this function, so we don't need to type anything. We're going to return a number. So in the function we make 2 variables. One is 2 and one is 3. Then we return something, telling Flash you want, when this function runs, you want it to return something. What you want Flash to give you something back, and what you want it to, telling Flash what you want exactly. You want it to add these 2 variables together, and that's what you want it to return. And then we traced it, telling checking if this works. So we ran the function inside the trace statement, which is possible, and that's what happens. So that's how it works. Now that's pretty much how you return something. But to make things simple, you probably wondering, is there anything else besides number? If you were to type int, which is commonly used, it basically means integer, and an integer is basically any whole number, so it can't contain a decimal point like 2.5 or 3.6 or 7.8. It can be a negative number, but it can't be any decimal. It has to be a whole number. If you were to type in uint, this basically means positive whole numbers, so they can't contain a decimal and they can't be a negative. And those are the different types of numbers. If you were to type in number basically means any type of number. It can be a decimal, it can be a negative, it can be anything you want, any kind of number. And the reason they have different ones is because, well, maybe you want, maybe you have a whole number and this makes Flash run faster. So I'm gonna type in, if you have like a bunch of variables and you put them in numbers, it'll probably run slower. But if you know what kind of number they are, like if it's a positive number, you can type in integer, and that's just, remember, it's int for positive. You use u, and there's no negative. So I'm just gonna type these back into numbers, and that's basically different number data types and the different how to return something in Flash. So thanks for watching.